Hi everyone, Zach and Matt here from Ozcare Physio, here in part 2 or video 2 of International Pain Awareness Month. And today we're going to talk about when does pain become unhelpful. So to follow on from last week and to recap a little bit, there's no one pain nerve or receptor. You've got thermal, you've got chemical, you've got pressure or mechanical, and that nociceptor or the danger receptor. And all of that information comes up into our brain or our nervous system, and basically it interprets whether it's threatening to us, whether we're at risk of damage, and we feel pain as that output. So today we're kind of tackling when does that pain output become, I guess, misrepresented of what's actually happening in our bodies. So the way that I like to describe this to the people that I see is usually when you've been in pain for a long period of time, and it can be anywhere from a couple of weeks where it just keeps nagging and feeling like it's just not going away, or it could be that you've hurt yourself, months or years ago, and then it doesn't take much to flare that injury back up again. Yeah. So say in a person without that injury, you would have 100 of those little nociceptors at the site of injury, whether it's your ankle or your knee or your back. Not actually 100, just illustrating a point, but you understand. So in someone with pain, they would have 200 of those little receptors. So they've got more of that input coming in because they've got a higher number of those receptors.
Yeah, because the body's changed over time, right? So
Absolutely.
It's had that information coming in forever from that point. It's like, I'm kind of concerned about this area. What better way than to put more watches in to take note of the area and
Definitely.
look over it?
Yeah, for sure. It just we get more sensitive and we get better at protecting ourselves and nursing that area. And one of the other things that can happen is that instead of getting, just a high number of those receptors, the threshold before they send off their warning signal is decreased. So say someone without the injury would have to fill, a litre. Someone with the injury and with that pain for a long period of time would only have to fill half a litre. So they have a higher number of those receptors.
Yep. And
the threshold that they send off their stimulus is decreased as well.
Yeah. So I quite often will relate it to like a car alarm. So you have this beautiful car that your body that you really want to take care of, and someone walks past it and scratches it with a key and nothing happens. No alarm, no nothing, because it's just not sensitive enough, okay? And you think, okay, I can fix this. I'll dial up the sensitivity of my alarm a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, and if this kind of repeated thing happens, over time, you dial that alarm in your car up so much that eventually just another car driving past with a loud exhaust will set it off. And at that point there, we have this mismatch between damage to your car, because the car with the loud exhaust is just driven past. There's no damage, there's no change to your car at all. The tissues of your car are the same as they were before. Yeah. But all of a sudden, because that alarm system on your car is so sensitive, because you've dialed it up, it just goes off with almost no input whatsoever, or at least a lot less input than it would have before. And that's exactly what happens when we get this increase in the amount of nociceptors in an area, and a decrease of the threshold in which they go off at.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, just a couple of ways that we explain to people that we see of how that sort of works, because, we see people from all different walks of life, and, one analogy might resonate more than the other. So if you've got any questions, please send us a message or give us a call. More than happy to have a chat, and tune in next week for video 3, where we're going to tackle a bit of an interesting topic: is pain really in your brain, which I've heard from hundreds of people.
Yeah, and quite often I guess it's a little bit of a prickly subject too, because people think that we're essentially telling them that they're imagining their pain, which is not the case at all. Not at all. But we do want to, and I guess that's part of the reason why we want to tackle it too, because we certainly want to clear up that is never something that we would consider or try and tell you if you walked into our clinic.
Definitely.
At all. Okay?
But yeah.
So we'll chat to you again next week.
Tune in.